Have you ever looked into the mirror and just kind of thought like, "What? When did that happen?" One day your skin, it's glowing, your body's bouncing back easily after a late night, and you can eat whatever you want without thinking twice, right? And then the next moment, you find yourself waking up and you've got puffy eyes that won't go away, fine lines that weren't there yesterday. And then all of a sudden your metabolism, it's suddenly missing in action, right? Aging can sneak up on us, sometimes slowly, sometimes all at once. And the truth is, most of us aren't even prepared for the changes that are happening in our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, and our 60s. We don't always recognize that woman that's staring back at us in that mirror, basically, right? And that can be really, really tough on our confidence. But here's the really good news: you don't have to get caught off guard. Understanding what's happening and learning how to take care of ourselves properly, that can help us still feel radiant, healthy, and youthful and have that glow at any age. And so today we're breaking that all down because what's happening for our skin, our hair, our body in each decade, I'm going to talk about what you can do naturally because when you know what's coming ahead, you can often be prepared and you can age with confidence instead of have all of those frustrations. We're going to start with our 20s. Those were the days, right? Those were the carefree days. You were invincible. We could eat whatever we wanted, sleep crazy hours, and somehow still wake up looking fresh. And our metabolism, it was working overtime. Our hormones were mostly balanced, and our skin was often forgiving. Overall, most of us weren't even thinking about anti-aging techniques or thoughts because, let's be honest, right? We didn't have to. But that was also the season where we could kind of just grab whatever skincare product was on sale at the drugstore. Life was totally good, right? So, what happens when we hit our 30s? Like, why does it all change then? And here's what I need all of you to hear right now if you are in your 30s. It's not that you're getting older that's causing these changes that you're starting to experience. You're not suddenly aging. Okay. But what's really happening in your 30s is your lifestyle has changed. You're carrying more stress, more responsibilities, more sleepless nights. Your body isn't falling apart. It's just responding to your new environment differently. They've shifted into a season where your body and everything is having to work harder behind the scenes to keep up. And so here's what is happening often in your 30s, okay? Some or all of these may apply, but your career, you're in the high peak part of your career where you're climbing that ladder, you're juggling and or you're building a business. Stress hormones, they spike really high in this season of your life, and you're often carrying on that for a long period of time. So it's affecting your skin, it's affecting your digestion, it's affecting your hair, your nails. um, what else might be happening? You might actually have life changes in your family. Often that this is the decade where you're having a lot of babies and you're raising a lot of kids and you're doing a lot of hours at the school. And when you're chasing toddlers and everything, and you have these postpartum hormones, the recovery effects, everything from your hormones all the way to your metabolism. And so when you're in that season of chasing babies and chasing kids and doing all the things, you have less time for your self-care. So you're on autopilot. You're putting everyone else first. And that's one of the things I love about you, but also one of the things I'm trying to help you in this season to learn to put yourself first again, because you probably have created less time for planning your meals properly for yourself to make sure you're getting those nutrients. You're probably hydrating less or finding time for exercise. And that's totally understandable. Your skin, it's just not being nourished like it once was. And so Those more sleepless nights cause more visible exhaustion in your skin. It's not bouncing back overnight like it used to. You have puffiness, dark circles, the dehydration sticking around a little bit longer and taking a little bit more hard work to get rehydrated. And your body is beginning to process things differently. Okay. What used to be just a busy season now sticks around, shows up as bloating, sluggish digestion, and possibly some increased inflammation. You start seeing collagen loss at about 1% per year. So, with that stress being added in, or extra dehydration being added in, or poor nutrition being added in, it will actually speed that 1% loss up even faster. Okay, these late nights and stressful days and chasing everyone down and taking care of them, they're all showing up in your face and body. So let's talk about what that might look like. Fine lines begin to show up. Of course, if you sleep on your side, one of the first areas might be right here in your chest area. Also, your eyes and forehead might just start seeing micro changes of fine lines. You might see morning puffiness in your face and body, the bloating. It's going to take a little bit longer to go away. Freckles from sun, they may not fade as quickly as they used to. And then your skin, it may not have as much glow. It may look a little drier and dull. The way I coach my clients, I have 7 pillars to beautiful skin or living a beautiful, healthy body and life. And so the 2 pillars that I would suggest for this age group to focus on is sleep would be one. This is your secret weapon. Here's why it matters. Your body and your skin, it detoxes and repairs while you're sleeping. So that's when collagen is able to produce itself. And then, so when you have bad sleep, it often feeds you to have more cortisol, which means more fine lines and more inflammation. And so also that poor sleep, those under eye bags and dull skin, that stomach bloating, it makes it all worse. It also can cause cravings. And so give yourself a break and forgive yourself for where you're at right now because you're going through a lot, right? And so what I would do is I would just prioritize a consistent sleep schedule, try to go to bed at the same time, or at least get up at the same time, or both ideally. Okay. And here's 1 or 2 things that will also help your sleep. So when you do your skincare regimen at night, if you at least get your makeup off, if you have makeup on, okay? But another really quick way to just hydrate your skin is take a soft organic cloth and get it really hot with water and place it over your face and give yourself a little steam, okay? That's a steam cleansing in the most basic of way, but it's going to hydrate and also prepare your skin to be able to repair instead of fight all the toxins that are sitting in your skin, okay? Also use a silk pillowcase, especially if you sleep on your side, but a silk pillowcase will help prevent those fine lines and hair breakage to some degree. The other pillar that I would focus on is nutrition. So if you have not gotten your nutrition under control by your 30s, old habits are hard to break. It's also accumulative as far as the destruction that those terrible foods will have on your body. So just know that what you eat will show up. It is what your body's made of. So if you're giving it poor fuel, it's going to only be able to give you poor skin and body responses. Okay. So if you can do a couple of things like cut back on sugary drinks, that includes juices, okay? Because even if it's from a real fruit, it's just quickly entering your bloodstream. So you're getting a really quick spike and then a really quick crash, okay? So if you're going to have the fruit, try to do the fruit itself because that fiber will help in immense ways to keep that spike from going so big. But cutting back sugar, cutting back on caffeine as much as possible because caffeine can affect your hormones, especially your adrenals, if you tend to lean into adrenal fatigue, which also increases inflammation. So the other thing is hydration really matters. That's going to be what helps keep your skin plump and younger looking. Also adding adding in healthy fats, that's going to help keep the glow, okay? So, really good nutrition that's going to impact your gut health in a major way, which affects your skin, your hair, and your metabolism and all the things. Thankfully, at the age of 30, you can typically still lose weight if you're trying to. So collagen boosting foods, let's just talk about a few of those since at this age and stage, you can eat and supplement yourself to keep up with that 1% loss, okay? So blueberries, those are so full of collagen. If you've ever seen it get thick after it has set when you make yourself a smoothie, leafy greens and wild caught fish, those are really good at boosting collagen. Things that are good for balancing your blood sugar is increasing your fibery vegetables and fruits and having a good balanced protein, okay? And then drink half your body's weight in ounces daily. Now, just to do math really simply, if you're 100 pounds, then you take half of that and you want to drink 50 ounces of water. Okay. So if you're feeling that your digestion's off, you're starting to see some bloating, or if you're seeing your skin, your hair, or your hormones suffer in your 30s, start taking care of your gut now because that will really help you in your 40s. But in your 30s, it's not time to have this majorly complicated routine for your skin. So let's go ahead and keep it simple, right? So in your 20s, you probably could get away with just a cleanser and a moisturizer, two products, that's it. But what I want you to add in this season is, well, first of all, I want to talk about your cleanser. Make sure that if you're using a foam or gel cleanser, you swap those out in this season of your life. Those can strip your skin of microbiome and the healthy probiotics on your skin, and they can also just strip it of hydration. So we want to make sure we're getting a hydrating cleanser. I am including my favorites in the show notes so that you can have access to the products I actually use. There will be a code for a discount as well. All right, so let's move on. So here's what I want you to do. When you think about your skincare regimen starting in your 30s, I want you to think about it as a sandwich. Your cleanser and your moisturizer are the bread. That's the boring stuff, but it's so necessary, right? It's the stuff in between that does all the magic, and that's where you're going to spend the majority of your money. And so I want you to, in this season of your life, add in a hyaluronic acid. That's going to help keep your skin hydrated and plump up those fine lines and wrinkles that you're thinking about. And my favorite, it also happens to be a vitamin C serum. So that's going to help with, if you're starting to see freckles stick around a little longer, it's going to help keep that brightened a little bit longer. And then, of course, your moisturizer. Here's what's great about this season. If you are using an SPF, which I have a lot of thought about because I want to have a healthy one, a non-toxic one, but one that doesn't block vitamin D absorption, which I have included in the notes, my favorite. But here's what's great. It's an oil. You can use that as your moisturizer to lock in all that hydration. So it can double in this season of your life. And then also, if you're starting to see fine lines around your eyes, this might be a good season to add eye cream. Okay. I want you to add to your skincare regimen, but I want it to be low effort. Okay. It can have a high impact just adding in one or two additional things because these small changes are going to really show up in the end. But anyway, let's move on to our 40s. So your 40s, this is when your body starts sending out louder messages. It's not just hinting anymore. If you haven't stopped to start taking care of yourself yet, you'll start realizing that those older habits are harder to break, right? What used to work is not working anymore. And you might notice here's a couple of things that are happening in your life. Menopause symptoms start beginning. And everybody experiences them differently, but it's crazy how certain aches and pains that start showing up here in your 40s, if you look it up, you'll often find that it is tied to that perimenopause hormonal shift. Okay. Also, your wrinkles, they're deepening. Your skin is losing its firmness here. So you often will see it right here in the jawline, and your cheeks start to slide. So you may start noticing it here in your nasolabial folds. And then, of course, your eyelids might start to droop. Your hair, it maybe will thinning noticeably, especially around the temples right here or in your ponytail a lot. You might start noticing it in the hairline. Here also, your metabolism starts slowing down. Mostly because your estrogen levels are starting to drop as well. So it's going to make weight a lot harder to manage, but not impossible. And then your energy levels here. Oh boy, it can fluctuate. One day you can feel amazing, one day you're drained, right? And then your dieting and exercise, what worked before suddenly doesn't, but there's a reason for that. I know that I'm in this decade right now. I am 46 and I have had quite a few surprises. Yeah. But here's the two pillars that I would focus on in this particular decade, and that is stress and hormone balancing. One thing that is tied to all of this, because our emotions are heavily affect our stress levels, is I know that a lot of women in their 40s start shaming themselves pretty heavily. They think they should have been further in their life at this point in time, or they're starting to feel so tired that they don't have the energy for their dreams, so they feel shame about that. But just know there are some ways to help yourself get the help you need for these stress and hormone management. And so when you're shaming yourself about the weight you're carrying, this is not the season to say calories in, calories spent is how you lose weight. There are other things to add to the regimen if you're trying to lose weight. And I am going to be here very soon in my Facebook group, going to be talking about what I am doing in this next season. So for anybody who actually is curious about weight loss management in your 40s and past, get into the group. Okay, so, but if you don't adjust the things that we're talking about, the stress and the cortisol effect and all of that, you're going to feel like your health is beginning to fail when really your body really is just screaming out for more help and support. Your stress and cortisol, it has everything to do with your skin, your digestion, and how you're aging. So stop shaming yourself when old habits don't work. Your body's just different now. Okay. You're also going to be adapting your nutrition to support your hormones if you haven't done it in your 30s. So here's a good time to add magnesium and adaptogen support supplements to help manage those stress and the perimenopause symptoms. Also, really, what would be great in this season because inflammation is starting to get high, take Epsom salt baths with essential oils, try dry brushing, do whatever you can to aid in your body's detoxing process. What you do in your 40s is going to add fire and fuel your 50s. So if you continue to neglect, that's what you're going to get in your 50s. But if you start doing the things that I just told you, your 50-year-old self is going to love your 40-year-old self, okay? And so you're going to have less struggles in your 50s. The other pillar to focus on is deep hydration and skin barrier support when it comes to your skin. There's a couple of things that start happening with your skin at this stage. It's producing less oil. It's losing hydration faster. Your body's sending all the hydration resources to your vital organs. So if you're drinking enough water, it may not be showing up in your skin. So this is where you need to make sure your skin products do have that. And then your skin barrier, and here's what didn't know in our 20s. We loved our almond skin scrubs, rough and was better. And what we didn't know was we were breaking down our skin barrier and weakening it over time, making it either thinner or tougher and thicker, like a scar tissue. So what we want to do now is we want to start repairing that skin barrier so that we can slow down the thinning or the crepey skin that we might start seeing in our 50s. Also, I would add face exercise in this season. That is my specialty. Okay, so here's what you can add to your skincare regimen. Peptides and ceramides. These really are great for repair and barrier support. Okay, and then there's another thing you could add in this season, slugging. If you haven't heard about slugging, this is something you do at night. What ends up happening is a lot of our products that we spend a lot of money on, they evaporate into the air, even if you have a good moisturizer. And so what you want to do is get your hands on a slugger product. In the traditional world, if you were to research on Google, you're going to see people doing it with Vaseline. That's terrible for your skin if you know anything about toxins and petroleum jelly and all the things. So but I will include in the notes my favorite slugger. It is full of vitamin E, and what it's going to do, it's also softening your skin. So it's helping your skin to absorb that hydration faster. Okay, so maybe even add in a hydrating face mask weekly. And this is super easy to do. You can do it with your own DIY products at home. If you have an aloe plant, hand fillet that sucker and just put a thick layer on your skin. Cucumbers over the eyes, the slices, and then of course you could whip up some honey and yogurt, sit that on top of your face, and then you could also whip up egg whites and put that on your face, okay? But there's all kinds of really great hydrating face masks that you can create, so there's really no excuse to be able to do this. But I do have a favorite mask. I will include it in the notes. And then at this part of life, you may start to see hair breaking and falling out a little faster. And so one easy thing to do would be to take some castor oil and start giving yourself some scalp massage and treatments with that when you go to bed at night. But in your skincare routine for your 40s, we just want to make sure that we're offering the support that your regimen needs. So here's where you probably want to get an entire complete regimen. And I like to stick with the same brand because they've already done the thought work for you. So they know which products and ingredients are synergizing to create the long-lasting results that you want. Give-A-Derm, it's my favorite. It's a women-owned, faith-based company. It's the only one I trust right now. And then you can get a 10% discount if you go and use my code in the link. The facial addition system is the complete regimen system that Give-A-Derm has. It has products in there with peptides and ceramides already in it. Definitely add in eye cream. So I know right now you could be feeling a little overwhelmed. I have thrown out a whole lot of information, and I know I have, but I'm so passionate about making sure that women know what their body needs so that they can stop wasting money following every new trend or every Facebook and Instagram ad out there to get what they need. And so I'm trying to share with you that. But I want you to know that for the month of March, I'm doing free skin analysis. So you contact me through DM or email, and we will go through and look at your skin and analyze what exactly you need. You don't need like 10 different products, you just need the right ones. Okay. And the ones that are actually working with your skin, not against it. And a lot of the products out there, because the toxins in them are working against you. And so that's why I love Give-A-Derm, right? I use it every single day. And so when you see this glow on my skin, I have eye makeup on, but no makeup on my skin because I don't need foundation because it's giving my skin everything it needs right there in that facial addition system. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we're moving into our 50s, okay? In your 40s, if you felt like your body was giving you warning signs in your 50s, it's like you have an alarm going off, okay? This is when full menopause may settle in. And if you didn't make those small adjustments in your 30s and your 40s, you're really going to start noticing things speed up here. This might be the decade where you start thinking things like, I don't feel like myself anymore. Like I don't have energy for anything. And then you start maybe noticing thin skin by seeing like veins and arteries popping through, and you'll start going, wow, I didn't even know I had one right there. And you might start noticing your hair thinning drastically at this stage because of the menopause. And then when you think you've been eating the same, your weight is moving in the opposite direction that you want it to, right? And then you may even start going, man, why do I forget everything? Like I'm so bad at remembering stuff. No, this is hormones in their full force, okay? And right now, collagen loss is completely visible, fully visible. Your skin's thinner. It's more fragile. And because you're losing that volume loss, your wrinkles deepen. They appear deeper. And especially now, your lips are going to start looking smaller and thinner, and your cheeks begin to slide even more significantly. So then you start seeing the effects take into wrinkles on your neck. So more sagging in the jawline and neck area, that the dark spots and sun damage are now way more stubborn. Okay, for your hair, it's thinning, especially in the crown and the temples, like we mentioned. It's going to feel drier and more brittle. Now, your eyelashes and your eyebrows might start thinning. And then your nails. We haven't talked much about nails yet, but your nails, they start slowing as far as their growth, and then they start feeling maybe harder or more brittle. They peel a little bit more, and you'll see a lot of ridges start happening in the nail bed, or a discoloration appear. So if your nutrition is off, your nails will show signs drastically. It's amazing what you can tell by someone's nutrition when you look at their nails. All right, and then in your body, you have this major drop of estrogen. And then here's where I want to insert, please just go and have your hormones checked. Don't think you're crazy. Just go get them checked. All right, so muscle loss has fully accelerated at this point. So it's going to be impacting your posture and your mobility in major ways. Your joints are going to feel stiffer, less flexible. Your metabolism is going to be much slower. And so your weight, if you've been able to carry your weight evenly, will then at this point start shifting to your midsection. Things like recovery from workouts or daily activities may take longer. So you're just going to feel the aches and pains a little bit more. And so here's the two pillars I want you to focus on here. Again, we're going to go back to that deep repair for your skin. So we're going to look at those ceramides and peptides again here, but your skin barrier, it's getting weaker if you've not been taking care of it. And so make sure that you are doing what you need to support that. And then if you've not neglected hydration and nutrition, you're now going to see it everywhere. It'll be in your skin's texture and elasticity. It's going to be in your body. So here's what you can do as far as skincare or body care is concerned. That slugging for your barrier repair is now essential. Okay. Castor oil now might be one of your daily best friends, right? So you're going to be using it for treatment of your scalp, your lashes, your brows. You may actually even start using it as patches on sore joints or your belly to reduce bloating and help aid the digestion. It's crazy what castor oil can do. Scalp massaging with essential oils, and that castor oil also is going to help with that hair growth, keeping the follicles stimulated in the growth cycle. Biotin and collagen supplementation is really now so needed. That's when I would definitely consider adding that in. But women who really do focus on their hydration, and again, I'm a hydration nerd. I love talking about hydration. It somehow helps slow down the signs of aging. So just make sure, if I can say it again, hydration, hydration. Okay. Now, another pillar here is now you're going to start thinking exercise in the strength and mobility part of life. And of course, in your face exercise is really good too. But you're going to need training for that muscle loss to keep up with that loss. It's also going to help strengthen your joints. And if you have any issues in your joints and ligaments, it's going to help with bone density decline. That's also happening at this stage. And then your flexibility, it does start to decrease, mostly from habitual things in life, where if you're constantly looking down at your phone, for example, you're lengthening this muscle and shortening this one. So then what ends up happening is you're not able to do certain movements with your neck as easily because you've lost your flexibility. So make sure you're prioritizing that strength training for your posture, your joint stability, your flexibility. So adding in some stretching. And then again, Epsom salts and magnesium supplementation is going to be really good here as well to support that muscle recovery. So what is a simple skincare regimen for your 50s? So again, this one's going to look very much like the one in the 40s. You're going to be doing ceramides and peptides for barrier repair. You're going to be slugging for that intense moisturizing that you need, and then those hydrating face masks and scalp treatments and nail treatment. You can put castor oil on your nails. All right, so let's talk about our 60s. Your 60s, when you realize that aging isn't just about your looks. It's funny how the older you get, the more vocal about who you are, right? But in your 60s, you realize it's more about how you feel. So you either step into the decade of the 60s really strong, vibrant, or capable, or you start noticing that you've let things slip. But the good news, it's never too late to take control of how you age physically. Okay. And so this might be the decade though, where you're going to see your skin really thinning, and you may even start getting cuts and bruises way quicker and easier than you used to. At this stage, you may even start thinking about like, how do I maintain my strength? I've lost so much strength and I don't want to feel fragile. I don't want to have to rely on someone else. Um, and then you may also be going, wow, my hair's so sparse. Like, how do I, how do I fix this? And then you're thinking, if I want to age well, I've already made it to my 60s. What does aging well even look like now? Because it may be too late, right? But it's not too late to get results. Results may look different, but it's not too late. So here, your deep wrinkles and your sagging are more pronounced. For sure, you're seeing crepey skin at this point. Your hands and your neck, if you've not been caring for it up to this point, you will see your prominent veins and texture in those areas. And then you may even completely have lost most of your eyebrows and eyelashes at this point if you have not been doing what you can to take care of them. And then your nails, the growth is really, really slow. They're more brittle. There's discoloration. Your ridges are there, and you may even start getting a hardening and a thickening of the nails if you're not doing what it takes to keep them soft and pliable. And at this point in your body, bone density starts really decreasing if you haven't been doing those weightlifting exercises. So you may be at risk for a fall. And this is where a lot of people at this stage and age, they end up getting hip replacements and things like that. So your posture and your mobility are things that need extra attention in this stage of life. At this stage, you still probably have a lot of energy to still make it through and have some really great days, but you also may have days where you feel so sluggish that you're just kind of wondering, like, how am I going to get my energy back? And then digestion does tend to change at this stage of life as well. So here's my two pillars. We're going to stick with that physical exercise pillar here, the strength training, mobility training. We're going to focus on that bone health so that your muscle loss is slowing down. And here you need to focus on balance. So balancing exercises, even though they feel elementary, are very important to keep your brain health. And so make sure you're doing that. But you want to do what you can with that bone density and weightlifting and flexibility training to slow down your risk of fractures. You may not even fall at this point, but you could end up with a fracture. So focusing on exercises too that are good for posture, keeping your shoulders back and chest open. A lot of that's going to help in major ways for lymphatic flow and keeping the organs optimal and working at their best. So what can you do? We can strength train, we can do daily stretches, you can do Epsom salt baths and magnesium supplementation for that joint and muscle health. And how you take care of yourself in your 60s at this point really determines how active and capable you are for the rest of your life. Because your 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, right? We hope you all last that long. It all kind of hinges on if you can do the right things to keep from the muscle loss and the bone density loss and those kinds of things. The next pillar is going to be deep nourishment. And that's going to look like food nourishment as well as skin nourishment here, because what you're putting in is definitely showing up. It needs to be only fuel sources at this point. The junk going in is really not going to help you in any way. But also, the skin regimen does the same thing. Let's talk about what you might add here. So, the little shift and change that you add here is that you're really at this point going to need to shift to spending a little bit more money on the things that will keep hydration and moisture retention your skincare. So you may do 2 peptide serums and 2 ceramide serums here if you're trying to keep your skin radiant and healthy and glowing. And then of course your supplementation here will maybe shift as well. So just making sure that you're doing that. Now, one thing I want to point out about supplementation that could be a little bit controversial, and I always hesitate because once this goes onto YouTube, it's very public, but calcium supplements, you have to be very careful with those. You're much better off eating high calcium rich foods because it's more bioavailable to your body. It's in a form that your body recognizes and can absorb. Calcium supplementation often doesn't give you the results and the nutrition and the support that you need. So make sure that you're talking with a doctor and a nutritionist to find the right way to get that calcium support that you need. Now, at this stage, if your skin is ultra thin, there are really great ways to exfoliate your skin in a gentle manner. And so clay masks are very good for this. The one that I will put in the link, it has fruit enzymes in it. So those fruit enzymes are going and eating away the dead skin cells on your face, and it does it so gently. There's a body scrub that I love that it has clay in it that actually is oxygenated. So when you put it on your skin, it literally can sit there without any scrubbing, and then you can rinse it off and it has eaten away dead skin cells. So of course, if you do a little bit of body polishing with it, it will be fine. But the reason why I mention these now is at this stage where your skin's very thin and you have to be very careful with it, these are the type of products that you want to make sure you can get your hands on. Okay. So we have talked about a lot today. And I wanted to put this all in one episode instead of doing several parts because wherever stage you're at, I want you to feel confident and beautiful and strong because you are a daughter of the king. You're beautiful, you're gorgeous, but a lot of us, we carry insecurities. And so I want to help remove that whole area of insecurity by just giving you the secrets to handling all of that. So if there's anything that I did speak today that I want you to take away with you is that aging isn't something to fear. It's something to prepare for. But every small shift that you make now is a gift to your future self. Okay. There's only so much you can do in a day. So make sure you forgive yourself for not being able to do it all, right? I'm just giving you a list of all the things, but you may or may not be able to do them all. Do what you can, right? So whether it's adjusting your skincare, it's balancing your hormones, getting out for a walk and just getting that lymphatic system moving, getting more rest, you have so much that you have control over and how you age. And so for all of those that do feel overwhelmed, just it's all in the workbook. So you can go to the Making Life Beautiful Again Facebook page and download the workbook. And then if you're wondering, like, where do I even start with my skin? There's so many things. I have eczema, I have psoriasis, I have acne, right? I didn't even touch any of those. Don't worry, I've got you. Go ahead and contact me through DM or email at michelle@michelledayrose.com and then get yourself started up with a free skin analysis. And I'm doing that for the whole month of March, okay? So go ahead and get on my calendar. All right, next week, we're going to be talking about something that totally affects every single one of us, and that's how to hack your brain so that you can build unshakable confidence. Okay, a lot of us, we have confidence one moment, but then it gets shaken and then we have to build it up again. So we're going to talk about how to hack your brain so that you have unshakable confidence. So if you've ever felt stuck in a loop of negative self-talk or struggled fully to recognize and step into your worth, you don't want to miss this one. It's going to be good. Invite a friend. Okay. So thank you for spending time with me today. I know it was much longer, but make sure that you keep taking care of yourself. You deserve it. You're worthy. And I love that I get to help you on this journey called life. But I'll see you next Wednesday at 1:30 Central Standard Time. Have a great week.